CJ Flyer back with another YouTube video. So as fans of the channel know, I am a huge Purdue fan, especially for college basketball, and this season they're being led by none other than the tall 7'4" center in Zach Edey. This season he averaged 24.5 points per game, 12 rebounds, 2 assists on 62% shooting from the field. He is a National Player of the Year favorite right now. And through the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament, he is the first player with 50 points, 35 rebounds on 65% shooting through the first 2 games since none other than Lou Alcindor, aka Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in 1968. Now, as cherry-picked of a stat as that is, anything like this that compares you to Kareem, you know you're a good player. I mean, you know you're at least solid, right? However, there's been a lot of discussion amongst fans of the sport about whether or not Zach Edey's game translates well into today's NBA. And I myself am also a little bit skeptical given the nature of his game and how limited it is. He's very much a traditional center, and those types of players don't really exist anymore. I'd say the closest comparison we have is maybe Zubac on the Clippers, Rudy Gobert, and Jared Allen. I think those are the 3 that get as close to being a traditional center in the NBA as you can get today. That being said, through the power of NBA 2K24 and roster and draft class creator tools, we can go ahead and simulate Zach Edey's career in the NBA, see how it would turn out potentially. Can he be a star, or will he be someone like a Boban or a Taco Fall, where he's a bench player, a fan favorite maybe, and doesn't get a whole lot of playing time? Okay, so the Bucks ended up beating the Denver Nuggets in the 2024 NBA Finals, and now we are into the offseason draft combine. And here are the stats right here of Zach Edey in the combine. Of course, putting up some big numbers on the bench, not so much on the vertical leap. And I'm honestly surprised he even made 9 out of 25 moving threes. Also worth noting, he appears to be the slowest player in the draft. Now looking at the mock drafts ahead of draft night, and we can see that Zach Edey has crept his way up into the top 5 since his performance in the NCAA tournament. Some boards have him going first overall to the Spurs, while others have him falling 3rd to the Hornets. And here we go, first pick in the NBA draft with the San Antonio Spurs. They are going to end up picking neither Alexander Sarr nor Zach Edey. Up next, the Houston Rockets end up getting Alexander Sarr. And then for pick number 3 with the Hornets, Jacoby Walter. It looks like Zach Edey is falling lower than what the draft boards had expected. Cody Williams from the University of Colorado going 4th to the Utah Jazz. Robert Dillingham. And Zach Edey is just falling way back at this point. And finally, with the 11th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, Zach Edey going to the Chicago Bulls. Of course, geographically located very close to Purdue University, so not a far trip from where he played for the past 4 seasons. Looking at the roster for the Bulls going into Zach Edey's first season, of course, he's a 75 overall, and he is definitely not the number 1 option for center right now. They got Nikola Vucevic at 33 years old. He is starting to decline, so hopefully that'll be a good opportunity for Zach Edey to pick it up and be able to work his way into the rotation as a starter. Because as of right now, he's actually getting 0 minutes in his current situation. The rotation's only 9 deep, and he is 10th on that list of players. And despite not being in the rotation to start the season, Zach Edey ends up winning Rookie of the Year in his first season here in the NBA, averaging 14.7 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, 1 assist, nearly 2 blocks, on 45% shooting from the field. Of course, to no one's surprise, the Chicago Bulls did not make the playoffs. In fact, they were the worst team in the Eastern Conference this year at 27 wins. And actually, back at the start of the season, the Bulls traded Vucevic to the Kings for Kevin Huerter and a first-round lottery pick in 2027, which is what led to Zach Edey to explode and make his debut at center for the Chicago Bulls. And here's his shot chart for his rookie season. Of course, a large volume of shots taken near the hoop, and actually a surprising number of mid-range shots taken throughout the season as well. We get a Warriors-Cavs Finals rematch, and the Warriors end up winning with Steph Curry getting another ring and another Finals MVP on his resume. And LeBron James finally retiring from the NBA at 40 years old. On to season number 2, Zach Edey has now progressed from a 75 to a 78 overall. The Bulls also got Cooper Flagg in the draft, The team is really starting to put together a healthy young core with a ton of potential to win some NBA championships moving down the road. Zach Edey, of course, now the starting center in the rotation with 33 minutes per game, the most for his team, tied with Cooper Flagg at the power forward position. Cooper Flagg, Zach Edey's teammate, wins Rookie of the Year this time around. And Cooper also getting All-NBA third-team honors and All-Defensive first-team honors. The team once again not making the playoffs, however, they did move up in the standings from the previous season, now 12th seed in the East. And looking at Edey's stats, he averaged the most rebounds per game for his team with 12.9. He also had 17 points, 2 assists, and 2.5 blocks on 43.5% shooting. Wemby and the Spurs winning their first NBA title together in 7 games. Wemby with the finals MVP. DeMar DeRozan's going to retire from the Bulls at age 36. Going into Zach Edey's third NBA season, he is now an 83 overall. Let's look at some of these attributes here. He's got a 94 post hook, 94 post control, an 89 draw foul, an 88 shot IQ, 86 offensive consistency, 91 block, 92 offensive rebound, 92 defensive rebound. And he's been developing those badges as well. Look, he's a box out beast, brick wall, drop stepper, rise up, anchor. He's doing incredible things here for the Chicago Bulls early on in his career. Luka has moved on from the Dallas Mavericks and is now playing for the Brooklyn Nets, winning another MVP award. Not sure how I feel about that being a Mavs fan. But look at this, Cooper Flagg and Zach Edey both getting on the All-NBA second team as teammates. And Cooper Flagg also getting All-Defensive second team. And this season, much different from the Bulls than the previous two. They end up with enough wins to get the 6th seed in the East, just scraping by to get a guaranteed playoff spot. In fact, they were only 1 game up from the 7th seed Charlotte Hornets. Zach Edey averaging 19 points per game, 12.5 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 49% shooting from the field. Very similar stats to the previous season, playing in 78 of the 82 games. All right, Bulls taking game 1. Series tied up. Bulls taking game 3. Bulls taking game 4. Can they pull out a 5? Uh-oh, they lost the next one. Oh no. Oh, and there we go. Bulls end up winning against the Nets in 6. The first team in the East to move on to the second round. Matched up against Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers in round 2. Cavs win game 1. Bulls winning game 2. Bulls winning game 3. Oh man. Oh, it's a tight series right now going back and forth. Bulls up 3-2 going into game 6. It is now a series tied 3-3 going into game 7. It's going a little bit back and forth early on. Cavs start taking a little bit of a lead, but the game is still close, still back and forth into the 4th quarter. As you can see, 8 minutes left. We're going to simulate a little more. And with just under 2 minutes left, we're going to jump in on this one. Okay, Bulls got the ball. Zach Edey is in the game being guarded by... Is that Max Strus guarding Zach Edey? Really? Or is that, am I looking at the wrong player? Oh no, sorry, that's a different player. It's just I was about to say an undersized center, but it's just that Zach Edey's so tall that he makes the guy look undersized. Cooper Flagg, I'd imagine, would be the leading scorer on this team and probably the primary guy to get the ball. Ooh, Zach Edey able to help the team secure the ball. Looks like he's trying to set a pick here for Cooper Flagg up at the top of the key. Does so successfully, getting the wide open 3 missing, but Zach Edey with the offensive board going right back to Cooper Flagg, getting another screen from Edey. Pick and roll time. Ooh, I don't like that shot selection from Edey. Gotta be honest. Looked a little bit awkward, but nonetheless, the Bulls still have the lead as they are going inside. The Cavs getting a bucket to take a 1-point lead here, 98-97. With a minute left, Cooper Flagg taking the ball back up, looking for potentially another screen. Zach Edey setting one for his teammate, cutting off ball, and that's Lonzo Ball right there. Wide open shot. Edey, the offensive board and the slam. Oh man, Bulls got the lead again now. Under 1 minute to go. Donovan Mitchell with the pull-up 3. Zach Edey with the defensive board. Get it right to Lonzo Ball. You know they're going to want to take some time, set up a play maybe. Looks like they're hesitating. Oh my goodness, almost turned that ball over. Cooper Flagg with it inside. Pass it back out. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Zach Edey here setting up that pick and roll once again. The fading 3, not no good, but Zach Edey, of course, getting that put-back layup to put the Bulls up by 3 points. The winner of this game going to the conference finals. Okay, Cavs with the ball. Donovan Mitchell, another pull-up 3. That time he banks it in. Oh man, it is a tie game now under 30 seconds. Cooper Flag with the ball. Are they going to go with the classic pick and roll with Zach Edey again? No, he's setting a screen for the off-ball cutter. And now here he comes for the pick and roll play. Cooper Flag open for three. Pull up. Let's go. That's money. Zach Edey defending the inbounder. Donovan Mitchell once again. He's been clutch this game. This time going in for a two. Passing it right back out to Edey's man. Edey with the good contest. And that is just about going to do it. The Bulls only need to make one free throw here to put this game out of reach. And they are going to not do that. Oh my goodness. He missed the first free throw. Come on now. You can't be messing up Zach Edey's legacy like this. Oh my goodness. I thought he was about to miss that again. Alright, so the Bulls got a 4-point lead. This game's pretty much over at this point. Tyus Jones with the ball for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pull up from half court, and that's no good. So there you go, the Chicago Bulls winning in 7 games against the Cavs to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Zach Edey, not a high-scoring game for him. In fact, not a high-efficiency scoring game for him either, as he went 6 of 18 from the field. Very unusual for a player of his play style. But he did get 14 rebounds and 1 block to contribute to the team's success. All right, so this is a classic matchup from the 90s. The Bulls matched up with none other than the Detroit Pistons, who now have Josh Giddey in their starting lineup. They've also acquired Walker Kessler, still have Cade Cunningham. They also have Robert Dillingham, Moses Moody, Luke Cornett, Lonnie Walker. They have Jose Alvarado. Wow, they have quite the roster here. I was low-key hoping they still had Jaden Ivey, because seeing Jaden Ivey versus Zach Edey in a conference finals in the NBA would be just an amazing narrative. All right, game 1 going to the 6th seed Chicago Bulls. Game 2 going to the Bulls. No way. Up 3-0? Are you kidding me? What's going on? Okay, this is where Detroit comes back. This happens a lot in these simulations. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Bulls made it. The Bulls made it to the NBA Finals as the 6th seed, and over on the Western Conference side of things, the San Antonio Spurs and the Thunder neck and neck going into Game 7, and the Spurs with Wembanyama going to the NBA Finals. Cooper Flag winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And looking at the playoff stats so far for Zach Edey before the NBA Finals, he's averaging more than 20 points per game, 12 rebounds, those 2 assists, and those 2 blocks once again, shooting 54% from the field. All right, this is going to be a very tough matchup for the Bulls. I don't really see them getting through this, but they did pull out Game 1. They did pull out Game 1 on the road. All right, Spurs tying it up 1-1 now, going up 2-1. And this is where our hopes and dreams die. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, the Bulls making the 3-1 comeback. Is it possible? Will they do it? Zach Edey contributing. Look at those boards in Game 6. 17 boards to win this one by 4 points. We're going into Game 7 of the NBA Finals. This has been quite the Cinderella run by the Chicago Bulls. And here we are. In San Antonio, the Bulls taking an early lead, but it is still somewhat neck and neck. It is only a 5-point game. We're going into the 4th quarter, and now it is tied up. Going back and forth we go. 2 minutes left. The Spurs have a 2-point lead. We are going to jump right into this one and watch it. Okay, the Spurs got Jalen Suggs on the roster, passing to Wembanyama, being guarded by Zach LaVine. I see no Zach Edey out here. Is he fouled out? Let's go ahead and take a look, because it is a possibility. And let's see, sure enough, no, he's got 0 fouls right now. He hasn't been contributing much at all, in fact. He's only got 7 rebounds this game. Will he get back in? We'll just have to see. I'm kind of surprised he's not out there to match Wemby's height, but then again, perhaps he's not good enough of a matchup for Wemby because he's not as fast and quick and versatile as Wembanyama can be, as Paolo Banchero, also on the San Antonio Spurs, and the former Chicago Bull Nikola Vucevic. Okay, Zach Edey is back out there as Paolo makes both of those free throws. We're under 2 minutes to go here, and it's not looking too good for the Bulls. They're going to have to pull out a miracle to get this one. Cooper Flag is just going ISO at this point versus Paolo, not getting anywhere. That defense is too good. Lonzo Ball with the 3? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Lonzo Ball with the redemption arc of his life. What a crazy comeback for him, especially after the brutal knee injuries he's been having. Zach Edey stuck on a screen, contesting the Wemby 3. It's no good. All right, Bulls down 1 with a minute left. Cooper Flag with the ball. Do they run a pick and roll or are they going ISO? It looks like he's going to take Jalen Suggs into the post and get the bucket. No way. Is Zach Edey going to get his first NBA championship ever in his third NBA season? Oh, man, that would be insane. All right, Jalen Suggs taking it up. Edey doing his best to keep up with Wemby. Obviously, the speed, like I said, a bit of a mismatch. Here he is, Edey guarding Wemby. Oh, that is a great contest. Oh, beautiful, Zach Edey. All right, here comes Cooper Flagg taking the ball down. Once again, he's just going by himself. Oh my goodness, look at that posterizer. All right, Bulls now. They were down 4. That is a 7-0 swing right there in less than a minute and a half. And oh my goodness, they get another rebound. This might actually happen. Unbelievable. Cooper Flagg with the ball. They're going to run that off-ball screen play for Lonzo Ball to get an open 3, I think. Yeah, we see Zach Edey right there. There he goes. Yep, setting the off-ball screen for Lonzo Ball. He's not open. They go to the pick and roll. Cooper Flagg getting it to the cutting Zach Edey. And oh my goodness, Wemby fouling hard. The Spurs don't have a lot of time left, so Zach Edey could close out the game and win the NBA championship right here for the Bulls. He just has to make one of these 2 free throws. First one's up, and it's good. Zach Edey has done it for the Chicago Bulls, and they are going to win the NBA championship in Edey's 3rd season in the NBA. The first championship the Bulls have won since 1998 with Michael Jordan. Unbelievable. There we go, making the second free throw. This one's all but over. Jalen Suggs with the 3. Oh no. Uh-oh, Jalen Suggs just hit a clutch 3 in the corner to make it a 2-point game. This one is not quite over yet. Okay, this is not Edey at the line, but here we are. Bulls, ideally you make both of these. All right, made the first free throw. Here we go. Once again, second free throw is up. Oh, no. Oh, no. Spurs have a chance. They have a chance to tie. Devin Vassell for 3. Oh, man. And the Bulls win it. Oh, man, that's unbelievable. I cannot. If this were to happen in real life, man, this would be insane. Zach Edey winning an NBA championship in only his 3rd season, and we have a Spurs player that has decided, I guess Jalen Suggs wants to be on the Bulls. Good for him. You know what, Suggs? Sure, come on over. Come on over to the Bulls. And now we have another Spurs player trying to take credit. I don't know what's going on. Zach Edey should be holding the trophy. Yeah, give it to Lonzo at least, man. Get out of here. What are you doing? Oh, finally, yes, Zach Edey, feel it. Feel the trophy. Feel its aura. Feel its presence. Cooper Flagg, yeah. Whoa. Who is this guy that's taking the Finals MVP trophy? Get out of here. Get out of here, man. What are you doing? Look, man, if you want to... Yeah, Zach Edey's like, hey, dude, you got to get out of here. Oh, okay, they're taking pictures instead. What is going on right now? All right, well... Chicago Bulls still won this thing. Zach Edey did not have the best performance, but nonetheless, he helped close out the game for the Bulls to win it in 7 games against the defending champion San Antonio Spurs. And the actual Finals MVP, of course, was not that random Spurs player, but rather Cooper Flagg, averaging 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Kind of hard to compete with that. I can understand Zach Edey not getting the Finals MVP there. And Zach Edey, my goodness, he is now up to an 88 overall. If we start looking at some of these stats, 99 post hook, 99 post control, 96 draw foul, 95 shot IQ, 93 help defense IQ. That is a huge number right there. And he now has the Hall of Fame box out beast and Hall of Fame brick wall badge. It's unbelievable. He started with bronze badges in his rookie season, already to a Hall of Fame badge level by his 4th NBA season. And the Bulls also picked up Tyrese Maxey in the offseason to pair him with Edey and Cooper Flagg. Wemby's winning his first ever NBA MVP. And look at this, the All-NBA first team. Cooper Flagg and Zach Edey both making it unbelievable. And over on the defensive team, Cooper Flagg and Zach Edey also both making all-defensive second team. The Bulls picking up right where they left off, tied for the 2nd seed, losing the tiebreaker, so they will be on the 3rd seed, but nonetheless, maintaining that momentum. They're no longer the underdogs, that is for sure. Zach Edey now averaging 22 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, 3 assists, almost 3 blocks. on 53% shooting from the field. And it looks like he is starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the mid-range jump shot, but still, of course, taking a lot of his shots from near the basket. First round matchup versus the Toronto Raptors, who do they have? Let's go ahead and see. They got Nikola Topic, RJ Barrett they still got Scotty Barnes, still got Jakob Poeltl, they got Cole Anthony coming off the bench, Josh Hart joining RJ Barrett in New York. Okay. Toronto taking game 1 in Chicago, taking game 2. Maybe the Bulls were better off as underdogs, as they are going to get swept in the first round. That is a hard way to go out, especially being the defending champions. Edey not scoring the ball like he did in the regular season. Nonetheless, he still had some good stats, just not able to compete with these Toronto Raptors. And the OKC Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are going to win the 2028 NBA Finals. And Steph Curry, at the age of 40, finally retiring from the NBA. And it looks like Zach Edey may have finally stopped progressing. He is stuck once again at an 88 overall. Cooper Flagg, however, continuing to progress at 22 years old to a 90 overall with a 97 dunk rating. Zach Edey, if we start looking through his stats, obviously his strengths, he was already maxed out at a 99 or close to it. So, any other stats that would boost his overall, it would require him to develop some kind of a jump shot, which, let's be honest, that's not going to be happening. At least not in the 2K simulation. Now, I've always said this as of recent about Zach Edey, that if he is going to be a consistent presence on an NBA roster throughout his professional career, he's going to either have to develop some kind of a long-range jump shot game, or he's just going to have to, increase his strength. He's got to be a dominant presence like Shaq or something. I hate to say it, but it's just his style of gameplay with the post hook and the drop step. It's just not very common to see in the NBA today. And I'm afraid that, even though he is a great player, I don't think he's great by the standards of the league today. Zach Edey's 5th NBA season, and his teammate Cooper Flagg is winning the MVP award with 27 points per game, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Looks like Zach Edey is not getting all NBA first team recognitions this year, but he is all NBA third team, and he's also getting all defensive second team honors. And the Bulls came back with a vengeance after getting swept in the first round last season by the Toronto Raptors. They ended up with 61 wins on the season. Zach Edey averaging 20.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2.5 blocks. It seems like his stats as far as points and rebounds are starting to plateau a bit, and the Bulls in the first round of the 2029 NBA playoffs are going to be matched up against the Boston Celtics, being led by Jordan Poole at the point guard. Oh, geez. Ugh. They have a lot of their returning players. They still have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Porzingis, Derek White. But obviously they've aged 5 years from, what we know them to be today. So Jaylen Brown at 32 years old, Jason Tatum at 31, Porzingis at 33. They're obviously still great players, but they've aged a bit. So maybe they've lost a little bit of their quickness. And Jordan Poole, I cannot believe Jordan Poole has made it on to a playoff contending team's roster, but here we are. Nonetheless, we'll go ahead and start simulating. This could be a tough matchup. The Bulls do end up winning game 1. Celtics take game 2 on the road. Bulls winning game 3 is neck and neck. Honestly, for being an 8 seed, that Celtics roster is looking pretty dangerous, but the Bulls do manage to pull out the series in 6 games. Now being matched up against the New York Knicks, being led by Devin Booker. The Bulls taking game 1. Taking game 2. Could this be a sweep? No, it won't be. The Knicks take game 3 and they take game 4. So far, the home team has won, and now it's getting dangerous. The Knicks have a 3-2 lead going into New York. That is not what you want to see. Bulls here in game 6 taking a oh my goodness, how many points? That's like a 30-point lead right there. Going into the fourth quarter, still a 30-point lead. More even. 141 to 107. The Bulls were not playing around, and if we look at the box score, it looks like Zach Edey led the way with 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks on 14 of 22 shooting. We'll go ahead now, go into game 7. And this one is in Chicago, neck and neck so far, back and forth with the Bulls. Looks like they're finally starting to pull away a little bit here. Into the fourth quarter, they have a roughly 10-point lead. Oh, and now it's getting real close. 3-point lead for the Bulls with 43 seconds left. And they're going to take this one and move on to the conference finals against the Miami Heat. And they have Caden Boozer, Carlos Boozer's son, Jaime Hawkins Jr., Bol making a return. Bol and Bam Adebayo being paired up in the starting lineup, the Twin Towers. And then we got Tyler Hero off the bench still, Mark Williams, Nikola Jovic, Terry Rozier. So they have a pretty solid team. The Miami Heat are always a scary team to go up against. And over on the other side in the Western Conference Finals, those Spurs, the Spurs keep coming back, man. That's going to be a tough matchup. Will we see the Bulls versus the Spurs in the finals again? Well, first the Bulls have to get through this series. So they win game 1. Miami is taking game 2 and game 3. Now we're down 3-1. It's not looking good. We'll go ahead, simulate with Simcast again. Neck and neck, back and forth, but the Miami Heat looks like they're trying to pull away here, and they are definitely doing that. They got a 10-point lead here with 2 minutes left, and yeah, that's it. That's it. The Miami Heat are going to move on to the NBA Finals versus the Houston Rockets. So, maybe the Bulls and the Spurs can play in like the Cancun Finals or something. But nonetheless, here we are, and the Houston Rockets end up winning the NBA championship with Carlos Boozer's other son, Cameron Boozer, winning the Finals MVP. So that is Zach Edey's 5th NBA season. We got some more players retiring from the NBA. I'm not going to go over that list in its entirety for now. We're going to go ahead and skip to the next season. And that's it. Zach Edey has plateaued. He is sitting around an 88 overall. This Bulls team has not made too many big moves. They still got Lonzo Ball. They still got Kobe White, Tyrese Maxey, Zach Edey, and Cooper Flagg. All right, the Bulls get another 50-plus win season. Zach Edey is not able to make any of the All-NBA first, second, or third teams, nor does he make any of the All-Defensive teams. There's the standings. You can see the Toronto Raptors are the only team in the East with 60-plus wins. And oh my goodness, actually, it looks like the Bulls traded Zach Edey. Yep, and there you go. The Bulls traded Zach Edey straight up for Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Memphis Grizzlies back in December. The Grizzlies, of course, a play-in team at the 7th seed, and if we look at the standings out in the West, it appears that they were able to get 41 wins, 41 losses. And Zach Edey is still the second leading scorer, even on his new team. However, he is starting to decline in the rebound numbers, only averaging 10 rebounds per game. However, he is also paired with the center, also from the same draft, from Baylor, Yves Mystery, who's sitting also at an 89, 88 overall. So, I guess the Grizzlies are just trying to run a two-center lineup here, putting in both players. As you can see, they're both starting. So because of Edey's new team, it looks like his rebound numbers are going to decline just because there's not as many rebounds for him to get with the other center in the starting lineup. Simulating the play-in game versus the Trail Blazers. It's a little bit back and forth, but the Grizzlies are starting to pull away here with a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter, and they're going to go ahead and win it with Zach Edey only getting 15 points and 12 rebounds in the game. Moving on, they're going to go ahead and match up against the Houston Rockets in the first round. Grizzlies end up taking game 1, losing game 2 to the Rockets, winning game 3 at home, winning game 4. Man, that is looking pretty good. And the Grizzlies win in 5 games to go on to the conference semifinals versus, let's not just assume Wemby's still, okay, yeah, Wemby's still there. Wemby, Paolo, Devin Vassell, quite the lineup. And they have DeJounte Murray off the bench. Are you kidding me? This Spurs team is stacked. My goodness. All right, Spurs winning game 1. I don't expect great things from the Grizzlies here. And yeah, sure enough, Spurs are up 3-0, and they are going to sweep the conference semifinals. Let's see. Oh, and they did not make it to the NBA Finals. They ended up losing in 5 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And your Thunder end up winning the championship again with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being the Finals MVP. Zach Edey, now 28 years of age, going into what I believe, yes, it's now his 7th NBA season. Still a very unfortunate situation for him. You know, that Two of the three best players on this Grizzlies team are centers. Ideally, he would be with a different team. Okay, end of the 2030-2031 NBA season, and I do not see Zach Edey here at all. I think just because, again, that pairing with the other center on his team, it's going to be very difficult for him to win any kind of awards. The Grizzlies end up getting the second seed in the West with 53 wins, 2 games back from the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending champions, of course, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, and the former Finals MVP. And here in the first round, let's see who the Grizzlies get paired up with. They're going to go up against Sacramento Kings. And looking at the stats for Zach Edey and the rest of the team, we can go ahead and see Zach Edey's points per game are starting to fall off a bit, only 15 points per game. His rebounds, still averaging, around 10 rebounds per game. Still getting close to 1.5 to 2 blocks per game. So he's still contributing. He's just not the elite player for the team. And he's got to share the blocks and the rebounds with the other center on the team. So nonetheless, Grizzlies winning game 1, winning game 2. Looks like this could very much be a sweep, and it will be indeed, going up against the Houston Rockets in round 2. Houston's grabbing game 1. Not good. Here comes Houston. Oh, and can we get a 3-0 comeback? The Grizzlies went. Oh my goodness, here we are going to Simcast. This could be a 0-3 comeback to win in 7 games. The Memphis Grizzlies here at home against the Houston Rockets. It's a little bit of back and forth action here. As we enter the fourth quarter, it is a 3-point game for the Grizzlies. Oh, it is a close one. 1 minute left, and the Grizzlies are up by 7. We're going to go ahead and just continue the simulation here, and there you go. Sure enough, Memphis Grizzlies winning that one, coming back from the 0-3 deficit against the Houston Rockets, going on to the conference finals. And the Spurs, they got swept in the first round. Hold up. Who did the Spurs have? They still got Wembanyama. What's going on? How did the Spurs fall off like that? That is insane. Meanwhile, on the other side here in the West, and yep, as I expected, the Oklahoma City Thunder making it to the Western Conference Finals. The Thunder winning game 1. I fully expect the Thunder to be able to sweep, but it looks like the Grizzlies steal a couple games there. Up 3-1 now in the series, and Memphis is going on to the NBA Finals with Zach Edey as their starting center, and they'll be matched up against the Washington Wizards. Who do they have? Anthony Black, Dylan Harper. Yeah, they got a pretty solid all-around team, I would say. Grizzlies taking game 1, Wizards taking game 2. Can Zach Edey get another NBA championship on his resume as the series is now tied up 2-2? Grizzlies taking the 3-2 lead. It is now a tied series. Man, Zach Edey's got quite the exciting NBA career simulation here, as we're going into game 7, tied up at 3 apiece, and it looks like the Grizzlies have a little bit of a lead going into the fourth quarter. I forgot to slow the simulation down, but it looks like the Grizzlies are going to end up taking this one as we continue the simulation here. The Grizzlies win by 22 points to get the NBA championship. Zach Edey got Finals MVP. Oh my goodness, let's go. I was not expecting that at all. As you guys know, he's been sharing the playing minutes at center with another superstar level center talent. But Zach Edey, Finals MVP, 16 points per game, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks on 54% shooting from the field. Absolutely outstanding, and a nice accolade to add to Zach Edey's NBA career simulation resume. Zach Edey going into his 8th NBA season, still sitting in an 88 overall at age 29. End of the 2031-2032 NBA season, Zach Edey is getting all-NBA third-team recognitions, no all-defensive second-team or first-team appearances, and the Memphis Grizzlies failed to make the play-in. In fact, I believe they just missed out because right before the last game of the season, they were in fact the 10th seed. And oh my, look at that. Look at that. 10 through 14 with the same record. I'm not even going to begin to try to figure out how to calculate that tiebreaker right there, because that is, wow. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 5 teams with the same record with the last play-in slot. to play for. That is ridiculous. So yeah, Zach Edey is not going to be in the playoffs this year. Pretty disappointing after they just won an NBA championship. But nonetheless, here we are. Zach Edey getting 18 points per game, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, same as usual. And Cooper Flagg and the Bulls are making their return to the NBA Finals. However, they do end up losing to the Sacramento Kings. Going into his 9th NBA season, Zach Edey still chilling out at an 88 overall, 30 years old, and still sharing the center position with another all-star, superstar level talent center player. Okay, no more awards for Zach Edey this season, the 2032-2033 NBA season that is. Memphis Grizzlies end up finishing 6th in the Western Conference standings, just making it out of the play-in. And if we go ahead and look at Zach Edey's stats, we'll go ahead and see that his scoring is once again sort of dwindling, declining. 17 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. Matched up in the first round against the Phoenix Suns, Memphis is going to take game 1, lose game 2. Phoenix starting to get a bit of a lead here. Memphis trying to make it a comeback. And we're going into game 6 down 3-2. It is now a tied series. That is the story of Zach Edey's career, is game 7s. And the Suns are going to end up taking a good sizable lead here going into halftime. But the Grizzlies are still right there knocking on the door. Not really. They're down by 10, 20. It's over. It's over. The Grizzlies have lost. We'll simulate the rest of the playoffs here. And Wemby and the Spurs finally making it back to the NBA Finals, only to get swept by the Orlando Magic. Zach Edey going into his 10th NBA season. He is still sitting pretty at an 88 overall. All right, Memphis is in the play-in at the 8th seed with 46 wins on the season. And looking at the stats, we can see that Zach Edey averaged 15 points per game, 9.5 rebounds. I mean, it's pretty consistent across the board. He's still getting very similar stats, still shooting above 50% from the field going into his 10th NBA season. And we'll go ahead and start simulating this game with Simcast. See what happens here. We got the Utah Jazz coming out on an early lead. Oh my goodness, that is ugly. Yeah, not what you want to see. The Grizzlies tried to come back, but it wasn't enough. However, the Grizzlies are going to get a second chance with the way that the play-in game is structured, and they are going up against the Los Angeles Lakers, who, do they still have Anthony Davis? No, Anthony Davis is nowhere to be seen. They do still, however, have Jared Vanderbilt, and now they have players like Derek Lively and Lou Dort on the team. So go ahead, also simulate in Simcast. Grizzlies out to an early lead, but it is a little bit back and forth. Now starting to pull away a bit more, up by 15 points. Going into the fourth quarter, it is a close one now, down to a 6-point lead. Can they hang on? Oh my goodness. All right, we got to jump right in. We got to jump in and see what the Grizzlies are working with here. Zach Edey in the game, guarding one of my favorite new Maverick players, Derek Lively. Derek Lively trying to post up Edey. No, he's going to set the pick for the pick and roll. Edey hanging back, playing some good defense and able to get the stop on Derek Lively. They got both centers out on the court here for the Grizzlies. So it'll be interesting to see how the two of them play together as Edey is kind of just hanging around. There he goes, setting a screen for his teammate, hanging near the three-point line for whatever reason. I don't know. But hey, the Grizzlies scored, up by 4, 35 seconds left to go. Here come the Lakers. I don't know what this play is supposed to be. I guess it's an ISO, but this is one of the slowest ball handlers I've ever seen. Edey with the contest, leaving Derek Lively with the wide open dunk. Not a smart decision on his part, as the Lakers are now only down 2 points. Edey with the inbound, getting it to his teammate, is going to get fouled. Harwell putting up the first free throw. It's good. Second free throw, also good. So there we go. Grizzlies get the 4-point lead. Lakers timeout. All right, Lyles with the ball for the Lakers. Passing it off. Oh my goodness, he got him. Oh man, what a beautiful pump fake and drive to the rim. You got to respect that. That was a nice move. Harwell's going to get the ball back again, going to the free throw line. Can he get another couple free throws? He makes the first one, going up for the second one here, and it looks to be good. Lakers with no timeouts left, inbounding the ball in the backcourt. They're going to put up a quick three here. missing it, and the other center on the Grizzlies team is going to get the rebound. Zach Edey and the Grizzlies are going to win this one and move on to the NBA playoffs. And Zach Edey also, by the way, leading the team in scoring for this game. 23 points and 11 boards. Looking nice. All right, matched up against Minnesota in round 1, the 1 seed. And Memphis is going to steal game 1 on the road. Minnesota, of course, winning game 2. Not really surprised there. And from here on out, it is tied 2-2. Why did I have such little faith in this Grizzlies team? That's why. There you go. They end up losing that one in 6 games. Minnesota is going to go on to the NBA Finals to play against Cooper Flagg and the Chicago Bulls. And look, the Bulls, they shouldn't have traded Zach Edey. I mean, that was the piece that, what are they doing? Do they even have Jaren Jackson Jr. anymore on this team? They do not. So, poor moves on their part. They should have kept Zach Edey on this team. Zach Edey still with the Grizzlies at 32 years old, still at an 88 overall. The top half of this roster looking mostly the same as before. And this season, the Grizzlies are a 50-plus win team, getting the 4th seed. Zach Edey again getting similar stats as the previous couple seasons, this time though averaging 2 blocks per game and slightly under 50% from the field. Matched up against the Dallas Mavericks in in round 1, and the Memphis Grizzlies win the first one, lose the second one. There we go, getting up 2-1, up 3-1, and there we go, on to the second round. Up against the New Orleans Pelicans. Who is on this team? Brandon Ingram still hanging around. Şengün, Grady Dick. Where is Zion Williamson? He is nowhere to be found on this Pelicans team. Grizzlies end up taking game 1 here on the road. Going into game 3, they're going to lose that one to the Pelicans at home, tying up the series now 2-2. Pelicans going up 3-2, and they're going to go ahead, the Grizzlies that is, losing in 6 games. And the 76ers end up winning the NBA Finals with Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron Boozer. All right, Zach Edey finally on the decline at 33 years old. He is now an 87 overall as opposed to the previous few seasons where he was sitting at 88. Grizzlies end up with more than 60 wins, finishing 1st seed in the West. And if we go ahead and look at the season stats, there you go. Oh my goodness, that is a worst case scenario for Memphis. Both centers out with an injury, and Zach Edey appears to be out for the season with a torn right hand ligament. And he played 80 games too, man. That is, you do not like to see that at all. Look, since this is a Zach Edey career simulation, we're not even going to bother going through with the Memphis Grizzlies, seeing how they do. However, they are winning games, and they did make it to the NBA Finals versus the Detroit Pistons. Is Zach Edey back from injury? He shouldn't be, because they did just say that he was out with yeah, there he is. Still out with a torn right hand ligament. Very unfortunate, but his team is able to make it to the NBA Finals without him. And they're going to end up losing to the Detroit Pistons in 5 games against Ace Bailey, the Finals MVP. All right, Zach Edey, 34 years old now, going down another overall level to 86. Okay, I wasn't going to mention this, but it happened again. Bronny James has been winning 6th Man of the Year, like every season for, I want to say like the past, 2032, 2033, 2036, 2037. And he has become quite the NBA journeyman. Look at this. Chicago, Indiana, Philly, Utah, Toronto, OKC, Indiana again, Denver, Phoenix, Portland. I mean, he's been, ever since his rookie contract in Portland, he's been on a new team every season. Just something I wanted to note that I thought was pretty interesting. Zach Edey, of course, still not winning any postseason awards. The Grizzlies now the 3rd seed in the West with more than 50 wins 52 wins right there. And then if we look at the player stats, once again, you can see Zach Edey's really starting to decline. With that injury, he didn't really get into, playing for this team until like a third of the way through, and so he ended up playing 57 games for the season, averaging just under 15 points per game, 10.9 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. I mean, same old. He's putting up similar stats at this point. We'll go ahead and start simulating the playoffs here. Simulate game 1. Memphis going up again. Game 2. Look at this. This could be a sweep. Every time I say this could be a sweep, it ends up not being a sweep. There we go. Going on to the second round now versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Memphis stealing game 1 on the road versus the two. Wow, winning both games on the road. My goodness. Okay, Memphis. All right. Going on to the conference finals versus the Phoenix Suns. And Memphis is going to lose game 1 this time. All right. Okay, it might be over now. Yep, there we go. Memphis gets swept. And Phoenix sweeps in the NBA Finals as well with Franklin Wells, who I assume to be some kind of auto-generated player, winning the Finals MVP. Zach Edey is still on this Memphis Grizzlies roster at 35 years old at an 84 overall with 2 years left on his contract. And there's Cooper Flagg's name making a comeback, winning the MVP with the Chicago Bulls. Meanwhile, look at that. Zach Edey starting to take a back seat in his career. He's no longer a starter, and he ends up winning 6th Man of the Year, averaging 12.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 blocks on 48.5% shooting from the field. He's not going to win any other awards, just that 6th Man award, as the Memphis Grizzlies end up getting the 2nd seed in the West. If we go ahead and take a look right there, 52 wins. The Phoenix Suns, of course, still dominating with 61 wins. And the first round matchup is once again going to be the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 going to Memphis. And it looks like it's going to be a close series going in. Oh, Dallas up 2-1, up 3-1. Uh-oh. That's not what you want to see. A 7 upsetting a 2. I'm going to go ahead and simulate the rest of the playoffs. And it looks like Phoenix is going to make it back there once again, end up sweeping in the finals yet again. And Franklin Wells is going to get that finals MVP. So it looks like Zach Edey is not going to retire quite yet, but you got to imagine he is going to be getting there pretty soon. Getting up there in age and getting up there as far as years played in the league, as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is already retiring at this point. Zach Edey now an 82 overall at 36 years of age. He is 14 years played in the league. No awards for Zach Edey this offseason, or postseason, I guess, if you will. Memphis Grizzlies end up getting the 5th seed in the West. And then looking at Zach Edey's stats, he's going to end up, where is he? I think Zach Edey got traded. Hold up a second. Zach Edey involved in a multiplayer trade to the Detroit Pistons. And of course, the Detroit Pistons are garbage. They didn't even make the play-in. And if we now we'll go ahead and look at Zach Edey's stats here. Let's see what he's got going for him. Where is he? There he is. 12.7 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 blocks. He played in 79 games, only started in 9, and Cade Cunningham is still hanging around on this Pistons team at 37 years old. And my goodness, whoever this Franklin Wells guy is, he's just dominating 3 finals in a row with the Suns. He's just got a 3-peat and 3 finals MVPs. Did Zach Edey finally retire? No, not yet. However, former Purdue teammate Jaden Ivey did retire with 17 seasons gone pro. And to start the season, Zach Edey is nowhere to be seen on this Detroit team. In fact, is he even on an NBA roster at this point? And he is indeed on the Boston Celtics at 37 years old as a 79 overall. Okay, the Celtics got the 4th seed in the East in the 2040 NBA playoffs. And Zach Edey, how did he do? He went ahead and scored 13.2 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists, 1.5 blocks. Oh my goodness, his field goal percentage is really starting to decline there. And the Celtics are down 3-1 in this first round of the 2040 NBA playoffs, and they're going to go ahead and lose. Bronny James making it to the NBA Finals, where he is going to end up losing to the Miami Heat. Is Zach Edey finally going to retire? Yes, he is. After 16 seasons in the NBA at 38 years old, he is going to call it a career. Let's go ahead and look at those stats. For his career, he averaged 16.1 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.9 blocks per game, on 49.6% shooting from the field, 76% from the free throw line, averaging 30 minutes per game for a career. That is very nice. Looking at his accolades, of course, he won the 2027 NBA championship with the Chicago Bulls and Cooper Flagg, and then went on to blaze his own path, winning the NBA Finals in 2031 with the Memphis Grizzlies and also winning Finals MVP that year. All-Stars, he only ended up being an All-Star for 3 seasons despite being on 4 All-NBA teams, getting 1 first-team All-NBA recognition, 1 second-team All-NBA recognition, and 2 third-team All-NBA recognitions. His career high in scoring, 40 points in a game, and in one of his games, he also ended up getting 27 boards. That is very impressive, and 11 assists, and a 9 blocks game. Man, he was out there killing it. What a great career. Here's his shot chart for the season. Of course, most of those baskets coming near and around the basket, as we discussed way back during his rookie season. Zach Edey had the 3rd most rebounds by a Chicago Bull in a given season, also with the 10th most rebounds in a season with the Chicago Bulls in 2027. And he also holds the team record for the Memphis Grizzlies, beating out Zach Randolph by 11 rebounds, getting 961 rebounds in a season for the Grizzlies. That is a team record. Very impressive by him. And his counterpart from Baylor, also in the mix. But Zach Edey getting the top recognition. And you also see Zach Edey there in the mix with blocks, but Jaren Jackson Jr. beating him out in that regard. Now, of course, Zach Edey did not spend enough time on either the Bulls or the Grizzlies to really even get close to the top slot for blocks or for rebounds. However, you know, getting those season records, very impressive by him. Zach Edey ends up finishing 25th all-time in rebounds in a career with 12,782, beating out the likes of Charles Barkley, Dikembe Mutombo, and Dennis Rodman. He also finished 18th all-time in career blocks, 4 short of Walker Kessler at 17, but beating out the likes of Dwight Howard, his counterpart in Chicago, Cooper Flagg, Ben Wallace, Miles Turner, Jaren Jackson Jr. These are some big names right here, beating those guys out in career blocks. And obviously, this is not Zach Edey, but shout out to Jaden Ivey for getting in the top 100 for most points in an NBA career. So all in all, this is like best case scenario, I would say, for Zach Edey. He ends up winning 2 NBA championships, ends up a finals MVP in one of those championships, gets some other accolades, gets some team records, gets in the top 25 for blocks and rebounds in a career. Yeah, I would say that's probably the best case scenario for Zach Edey. Can he do it in real life? I think that's a maybe. It really just depends on which team drafts him, how they utilize him, and how well he's able to develop other skills. Because I think with his current skill set, he's not going to get much farther than a Boban or a Taco Fall in the NBA. He needs to develop some more post moves besides that post hook and that drop step. And he also needs to increase his strength, or at the very least, have some kind of an outside game. You know, Joel Embiid was never that good at shooting threes. That's something that he developed over time early on in his career. So if Zach Edey can do something like that while also developing his post game and his interior defense, I think he can really stand out and be a star. So just has to be right place, right time for him, right situation. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see a guy like Zach Edey that could be from anything, you know, a bench player, like a bust, you know, out of the league within 1 to 2 seasons, or he could be a star level talent, I believe. I think he's got that opportunity if he's able to develop the right skills and put in the right situation. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and click here on the screen for another NBA 2K24 My NBA video, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.